So this is a little awkward because I am already kind of back, and that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about how I have been able to get the computer to sort of work, and potentially, fingers crossed, allow me to still make videos like this one. However, I'm not going to be making the main video because there's already some problems that I am encountering with the computer as it is right now, where this isn't the solution I want. This is just a temporary solution. In fact, right now, my monitor just turned off. And it's because... Oh, that is very interesting. Hold up. Let me see if I can get this on my phone. What's happening is the picture on my monitor is waving. Like, the refresh rate is off. I'm going to say, I need to see, but I need to get this very quick because it might change in a moment. But this is the perfect example. This is the perfect example for what problem I'm now encountering with the computer. Alright, camera is on the tripod. Oh no! Fuck. It fixed it. God fucking damn it. Every time I try to capture what the fuck is going on with this monitor, it fucking fixes itself in some way. And I feel like I'm going fucking insane trying to do this, trying to just show what the hell is going on, because I keep fucking seeing it. Okay, well, I'm going to have my camera right here as I speak very close to my mic. I am clearly back, if this is on YouTube, if this gets to the point where it is on YouTube. Clearly, I'm back. However, there is a little thing that I do need to talk about, because I am having problems still with my computer, even with this workaround, because let's just start with what the solution I have done is. And I'll explain why this isn't exactly a good solution, except for just being able to use my computer without crashing. So, what I have done is I've taken out my graphics card, and now the computer is not having a power problem. It looks like the power supply is perfectly fine, that it was a problem with the graphics card. However, the problem I now have is something with either the CPU or the motherboard. Who fucking knows? Because right now, what keeps happening is the video signal keeps getting fucked up. And I have switched out HDMI cables, and both of the cables I have switched out, I know for a fact are really good cables because I've used them and I've had no problems with them. But I'm having problems now with the computer going to the monitor. So, currently I have what is basically a 3-foot HDMI cable going from my computer, with my computer sitting out from under the desk, going directly into this monitor. And every time something happens, I try to just get evidence of it so that I can show what the fuck it is. And hopefully sometime while recording this, I will be able to capture exactly that and show it on screen so you can see precisely some of the problems I've had. And the thing is that what ends up happening is the visual effect that you get from this, where it's like, I don't know, it just glitches the fuck out a lot. That can be cool for certain things I've done in the past. However, I need that to not happen when I'm trying to work on shit. And what has also happened is it simply just doesn't display a signal sometimes. So what ends up happening, I need to put this mic down because it's really heavy. So basically, the integrated graphics that I'm currently using to run my computer is a band-aid fix to a much bigger problem, which is I just need a graphics card that fucking works. Or really, I probably need to just get a new computer, which is what I'm working on. That is really the thing that I am working on now. Just at the moment, I need this thing to fucking still work. I need this thing to not just fail on me before I'm able to finish building the computer. Luckily, though, what I can kind of do is maybe work around some of these visual problems, just ignore them, and just make videos still, just keep working on things, and hope that the HDMI port on the back of the motherboard doesn't explode or something. Because I don't know what is causing this. I don't know if this is a bad motherboard. I don't know if it's a broken HDMI port. Because I haven't used the HDMI port really at all. That's the thing. So I don't know why the HDMI port is why it would be doing anything like this, because it shouldn't be broken if I've never used it. But at the same time, it could be something with the motherboard, maybe, I don't know how I would test that. But it could also be something with the CPU, maybe. I don't know how I would test that either. All I know is that it's not sending a strong signal, it seems, or at least a signal that actually is able to maintain its fidelity for more than enough time. And the reason why I think it's the CPU is because whenever I do some kind of video encoding based thing, i.e., I was actually able to trigger these display glitches to happen while working in Premiere. I would think that if that is the CPU, specifically the graphics part of it being under load and being expected to do something kind of intense, then there you go. There's the correlation right there. But it also happens when I'm watching YouTube videos sometimes. But keep in mind, the CPU still has to do a little bit of decoding with a YouTube video when you're streaming it to your device. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now with the computer, where I have a graphics card that works only if you don't do anything intense on it, and another graphics card that's part of the CPU that works if you do nothing on it. However, that one doesn't have the possibility of just crashing the computer because of a power spike or something. Again, that's my running theory for what's going on here. So because of all that, that's why I'm not going to be editing a main video on the CPU as well. I'm actually re-recording this because I was just trying to edit a video where I talk exactly about this, but because of new developments to this whole situation, I decided I would make not only a much shorter video, because that one was like 40 minutes long. I started talking about Twitter, man. Like, I need to just cut a bunch of that stuff out. But when I was starting to encounter all these problems, I realized, nope, this is a good example of all the stupid shit that is happening right now with my computer. What I was going to talk about in that video, though, and I think I will talk about now, is, yeah, the reason why I'm not going to be doing any main channel videos on the CPU is precisely for reasons like this, but also because editing on a CPU is a pain in the ass, alright? I should be able to edit a commentary type video just fine because you don't really have to edit a commentary video all that much. Maybe cut out pauses, that kind of stuff in the audio track. But even then, that's kind of so what compared to what I do with my actual videos. Keep in mind that all that you're watching right now is probably old footage from July that I had recorded for the Omori video. That's what you're looking at right now, most likely. Meanwhile, if you were to watch, say, my Shining video, it's cutting in and out of scenes all the time. Second thing I do want to talk about, or I guess third thing now, because now we're moving on from the computer topic almost entirely, unless the thing just fucks up right now. In fact, I'm actually going to do something real quick. What happens if I alt-tab into Premiere? Okay, it still hasn't started playing. Oh, cool, my battery for my camera died. Damn, how convenient. Okay, right now, I am actually excited, because not only is... Oh, there we go, the screen just cut out. Out of range, it just said on the monitor. You can't see it because I have the camera pointed at a section of the monitor, but you can see precisely, as I'm speaking right now, what is going on. And now, oh, and now it's black. It almost returned to normal for a minute. Okay, now it has updated. Oh, and it just fucked up. Out of range. Okay. I sound so happy right now because... Oh, cool. Yes, distortion. That is exactly what I want to show on this video so that I can prove that I'm not fucking insane. This is so exciting, man. This is so exciting because I can finally show that I'm not fucking insane. I've been trying all morning to get footage of this. And here it finally is. Yeah, and it's still fucking up because... and I think... And I'm now going to commentate over this because fuck all of this. Fuck all the bullshit I've been dealing with this fucking computer for the past 2 fucking months. This is precisely the issue I've been having with my computer. Just summarized into a visual like this. Is that there is just shit that happens for no fucking reason that I can't diagnose in a specific way unless I just do something insane like this, like, oh yeah, just play Premiere off of your CPU. And, like, what other thing could this be? Okay, what other fucking thing could this be? That, other than me running Premiere, playing footage that is unoptimized, that isn't running off of a proxy, which, by the way, let me briefly explain Premiere proxies. They make the footage more optimized to actually run on the program, to run on the GPU, or in this case, the CPU. And because I am not optimizing it, this is wasting more resources, but using more resources in order to render all this. But if you notice, it's rendering it like shit. And on top of that, it's failing to actually put out the video signal because it's doing something with the CPU that isn't really supposed to be doing. But it should be doing this because it's fucking designed to do this. If I hit the spacebar, it returns to normal, kind of. It still fucks up a little bit, but I guess it cools down the CPU or whatever. And it's still fucking up. But I have it on video right now. I have 3.5 minutes of this computer fucking up. So anyway, because that is... I'm so glad I now fucking have the footage of this to show how broken this thing is. Anyway, on to some other topic as the thing continues to just spaz out. I'm just, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm just going to have my camera record this for as long as possible. Because if this just keeps going for the full 20 minutes that this camera can record, then fuck it, man. It shows you that this thing doesn't even fix itself. Unless I like step in to fix it. The third thing I wanted to talk about, and I want some of you guys' thoughts on this. Every year, roughly, I tend to do an update to the branding of Absolute Problem, and it has been something I've thought about, especially for the past couple months, really since I was able to get my music onto Apple Music and Spotify, that I really should update my brand. Especially now that I am trying to get my now that I'm putting my music onto Apple Music and Spotify, because Apple Music actually rejected my icon, the bridge icon that I've used on all of my things, on TikTok, on Twitter, on this second channel, on Twitch, that was another one, even my website, and then of course the main channel. And that image is actually an image that I set as my channel's icon all the way back in 2018. And I just kept it like that because I didn't mind the image, and then over time it just became what I associated with my channel. So even my own mental association of what my channel is became that icon. And yeah, I mean, you see this icon on all of my videos. You see it in the bottom right on the main channel with the watermark feature that YouTube has. You also see it on the end screens. It ends up being the de facto icon for the channel, and then the intro is its own thing as well. And the intro I've had since probably in some form with the like Absolute Problem all caps font for the intro. That has been a thing since at least 2019, the first intro I had for the channel. You can see on screen right now, hopefully, if I'm able to edit it in without it frying my computer. Then there was a second one, and then now we're on the third one, and the third one has two variants, one that zooms out for the main channel videos, one that doesn't. And what I'm ultimately getting at here, listing all of this, is I need to tell you what the problem is with getting the picture for Apple. So Apple has guidelines for artist images and icons. And effectively, I think that there are some exceptions. For instance, Tool just says Tool as their artist image, but then on Spotify, it's actually an image of the band Tool. But if you look up right now my name on Apple Music, you will get album artwork, because that is the placeholder that they use if you don't have a artist image. But if you look up my name on Spotify, you actually get the artist, or you actually get the proper artist image, which is the same icon that I use on this channel. Now, if you look up actual artists, let's just say, as an example, Taylor Swift. Right now, and this is because she just released an album, I think a couple days ago, Her artist image on Apple Music is actually it is still a picture of her, but it's taken as a close-up of the album cover because of just what the album cover looks like. If you look at it, you can see exactly what the picture is. But then if you look at Gorillaz, you have an image of the band Gorillaz. Now, what Apple's guidelines are is you need a picture of the artist. Now, there is an exception in that where it's really about having some kind of persona. So, with Gorillaz, you aren't going to have the actual guy behind the Gorillaz as the artist image. Of course not. You're going to have the virtual band, even if they don't actually exist because they're a cartoon. To me, I think my branding comes down to my editing and then, honestly, my voice. That's about it. There isn't a persona that exists, like an absolute problem persona or anything like that, yet, I guess, because I will probably have to make one if I want to put an actual image up onto Apple Music. So Apple Music very clearly requires some kind of persona to the artist that you have on display for your artist image. And this is a thing that I would want to be consistent across all of my social media things, including music, things like Apple Music and as well as Spotify. Because if I'm going to do an update, right now I sort of have 1.5 different brandings with Absolute Problem, and I right now just want to unite it all under one thing. Because it's kind of silly how I ended up making it where... What I mean by 1.5 is there is sort of a very short-lived different branding for Absolute Problem music. So that's just one example where the music had a very different branding to it to the videos. And because of that, I wanted to get rid of that and just make it the same branding with the videos. Because I think that having, just making it more consistent, it just makes more logical sense. This then brings us back to the persona problem. So to solve this whole problem, I am going to have to come up with, how I see it at least, is I'm going to have to come up with some kind of persona for Absolute Problem. Even though I could kind of care less. So anyway, I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this, about what the direction for the channel is going to go, because it's going to be a very light change, but it does still feel significant because I am changing the branding that pretty much all of you know the channel as. And changing that, I think, could still feel a little odd for a little while. Of course, then if like 1,000 people find the channel and all subscribe, then now it'll be like you have the very old school fans that, I think it's like 600 subs right now, 610 subs, that remember the old days. the old days of the bridge days. And then you have 1,000 people that know about the newer stuff. Like, oh, you have... I know I'm thinking too far into it, but I do want to make sure that everything is of a high quality and is something that is going to be appealing. I don't want it to just be thrown together. And because I don't really care about having a persona anyway with the channel, that's something that I still want to at least give the illusion that I care. Does that make sense? Like, I still want it to be a good thing. It's not just a cheap thing that I made and threw together, even if it is something that I don't particularly care for. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. But on top of that, there are a few things I do need to do with my videos anyway, because there are certain ideas that I have developed over the years that just came out of necessity that kind of are inconsistent now. I mean, they are consistent in a way, but they don't entirely fit together, and they could probably be done better. And what I'm talking about, the immediate thing that I think about is my assets project. Now, what I'm referring to is whenever I start a new video, whenever I edit, say, the Shining video, the Omori video, the SimCity videos, I always pull the same assets from a project that I just call, and I update it about every year, 2022 assets. And what this is it has all the files that I need in order to make an Absolute Problem branded video. So as an example, it has all of the titles and in their exact positions that I use across all my videos. That's why I have very consistent titles, and I have a very consistent aspect ratio on my videos. And as well, even like the same credits that I've had since the Omori video. That is all because I keep all of that together in a project file in Premiere called 2022 Assets. And you can open up even like the 2018 Assets one and see where some of the early predecessors to what, well, I say that, but you do have a lot of things that have remained the same, such as the center of the screen title. It pretty much has been the exact same since I started just editing videos in 2018 and putting them onto the channel to just share with friends. These are videos that are, I think I've actually deleted them now, but they were like unlisted videos. There are a few things I think I do need to update with the current format of my videos, because I have now made 11 of these videos, and that is something that does surprise me. It is something that I thought was kind of a lofty thing, because even when I made the Omori video, that was obviously the first video I made in the current format. But at the time, I only planned on doing what was the SimCity video, Simulations Part 1 SimCity. A follow-up to that on The Sims, and then a video on Minecraft. That was it. And honestly, those probably would have been... Unless I came up with something else, those would have been the only videos that I'd have on this channel, probably in the year 2021 and the year 2022. Unless I came up with some other thing. But then when I just happened to make the Omori video in July of 2021, and that video did very well, I had a feeling that the video would do better than my videos normally were at that point. Just as an example, the video that came out before, which was a video on just modding a visual novel and breaking it, that was probably my fastest growing video at the time, because I just shared it with some friends and all of them ended up watching it. And that had 20 views, and that was typically the highest number of views that most of my videos were getting on the channel. There's still some videos on the channel, by the way, that have single-digit view counts, because they're old videos from back in the day. I was expecting if the video was going to be popular, it was only going to get up to 50 views by the end of the following week, because I think I uploaded it on Friday, so it would have been 1 week from then, video would have 50 views. And then it got that in about 6 hours after I published the video. And then by the following morning, it was 120 views. And then by that afternoon, I think I remember it reaching 300. I was just like, holy shit. Because it also reached a watch time, a cumulative watch time of 24 hours, and 24.1 hours in the time span of 24 hours. And I mean, think about that for a minute. At that point, more time had been spent cumulatively watching that video than had passed between that video's release. That was probably the most, like, incredible thing to happen. Followed by the channel reaching 100 subs, and then having a YouTube URL, and then also, like, people enjoying the video. All of that. That was one of the crazier things to happen, because at that point, like, okay, I have, I like to think that I understand time. I think most people do and can perceive what a day is. But then trying to think about, trying to then put into sense what is a bit more than a day into less of a day, yeah, you can understand that, but then when you do understand it, it's like, wow, that is actually wild. So, in response to that, that's why I then started making this type of video, and have done it for the entire year, mostly. I mean, this ended up being a roadblock. But that's why I've continued to make these videos, and at the time, I was only thinking I'd end up making after the Omori video once I finished that and uploaded it, not even published it because it was processing into 1440p. I was only planning on doing what would have been 3 more videos in that similar style, because the Omori video really was a prototype to what would then become the Minecraft video about a couple months later. But in that August, I started writing the Grease video, and then eventually you end up with things that I just did in the Omori video that happened because I just needed them to exist, i.e. How do I credit a YouTube video that I directly show in my video? How do I do credits for this video? How do I do X, Y, and Z? And then those just inadvertently became standard for the series. And then over time, as I've made these videos and got to 11 videos now, not only is it in my head like, wow, I actually did achieve something, because that is more videos that I've done in this series than I think most any other series I've done on the channel. I think the only other one is maybe the multiplayer experience. I think that one has 16 videos in it technically, but I haven't made a multiplayer experience video in years. Okay, that's a bit of an overstatement. I haven't made it since December, but still. Point is, yeah, I think it is appropriate now in what could almost be, say, like a year 2 of the videos of this video series. I should probably update some stuff and get some things that, do some things in a way that make more sense. By the way, my screen is still fucking up a lot. The camera has actually died while recording this, and it's still screwing up, so this is why I gotta deal with my computer. But anyway. So just as one example, this probably happened, I think a bit after the Omori video came out. The YouTuber Lamino came out with a video about Jack the Ripper. And I remember watching it and seeing how he did citations, because that video required a lot of research, and he had a lot of research from that video that he was referencing. How he did citations was actually really smart, where what he basically did was a form of Chicago Turabian, and had, he had numbers that would show up in the bottom right corner of the video that would refer to his research, almost like endnotes in that respect. And I saw this and thought, wow, that is incredible, because how you would then see what he was referring to from his research, what, say, journal article or newspaper he was talking about. There was a link in his description right at the top that went to his sources. So if you saw the number 86, go to source number 86, and he's referring to that. He's referring to page numbers in there, because I think you would end up with, in a square bracket, you'd have like 86 pages, 76 to 77. So there you go. That is precisely how you would, that's how you would cite things in an actual academic essay. And personally, I didn't really do anything like that for my stuff, because I didn't want my videos to feel academic. Even on the main channel, if you look at the series playlist for long-form essays, I put video essays in quotations. I even put an asterisk there saying, like, these aren't academic. Do not consider these academic. These are just the opinions of some guy that has too much time on his hands and knows how to use Premiere. Seeing that, though, because I didn't think about doing that, it made me think, well, I probably should do it that way, right? Like, that's a very smart way of citing, say, a film that you're showing at that moment. Because what I do is, if I'm showing a film that I'm just happening to talk about, i.e. in the Shining video, I talked about The Exorcist for a moment, I name-dropped it. In the bottom left corner, I had, say, The Exorcist, Warner Brothers. That's why I think that I need to refine exactly what, basically set up actual rules for how I do things like that in my videos. That way there is basically a style guide on how to make one of my videos, because otherwise everything kind of is just in my head and just keeps slowly evolving and changing as I see fit. And while I think there is a benefit there, I think that there also probably is a benefit to having things feel consistent and then refining them at given intervals maybe. Because the downside, of course, is that it does feel like they end up almost, by putting rules to it, I feel like that I personally may end up thinking that now it is becoming more academic, or at least professional in a way where I may not entirely want it to be. Because at the end of the day, these are just videos that I want to make. I want to make a video on, I don't know, Led Zeppelin 4. Okay, say I want to do that. Then I should be able to just make a video on Led Zeppelin 4. I shouldn't then have to, like, if I don't want to do a video where I'm doing research on certain things, I just want to talk about the album itself and only the music, then there you go. Which is why there are times where I will do a little bit of research into something, i.e. in the Shining video where I talk about how he treated Shelley Duvall. Where that feels like something that is important to talk about, in my eyes, with that film. But I'm not going to be talking about, like, a similar thing, say, with, like, SimCity. There isn't a set format or set formula for my videos. It's only really a set visual style for my videos. And because of that, I guess what I am wanting to do is update that, and as well update the branding, to make it reach a like a better level, I say, like a higher level of quality, and making things finally almost set in stone for how consistent they should look and be. Yeah, anyway, if you got through most of this video of me just rambling about some stuff, really about me branding this channel, and as well, me being excited about finally getting some footage of my computer fucking up about time, then I am going to leave you with something in the comments, or something to talk about in the comments, because I'm curious about you guys' thoughts on this, since specifically with the branding thing. What I want to know is what you guys think about me rebranding the channel and trying to add some kind of persona to the channel, because I don't really want to have to do it, but I might as well. If I'm going to update the brand on one thing, I might as well update for everything. And since I am wanting to push a bit of my music every now and again, especially when I do release a new thing, yeah, Apple Music is fairly important for that as well, along with Spotify. Yeah, at the moment, the only idea I really have, because I said this as a joke to my friend Mark when I first discovered this, when I was like, what the fuck is this? Why can't I make my brand on Apple Music? I just told him, look, at this point I might as well just make it an anime girl and go on. Just move on from that. Because I don't really care. But I still want it to look good, because this is going to be what my whole channel looks like. So, yeah, that's why I would be interested in some of you guys' thoughts. That's more so what I'm thinking, is something like a mascot, I guess. In case you're curious, this boss fight took like 12 minutes or something, and it was in the boss rush as well. I don't know why it took so long, but whatever. In addition, I just finished editing this. This was hell. I don't want to do this again, but I probably will do this again because, hey, I just recorded another one of these videos about D&D. So subscribe for that. I'll probably release it next week.